Hey, what's good? This is Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. I just had, I had to cut off the live real quick, had a little mini emergency, but I'm back in. I'm back up in here. I'm a little late. I'm a little late. I go a little earlier on Sunday. I try to, do it during a time where it works for West Coast and East Coast time zones. And man, today I really didn't have any energy today. I didn't have any energy. It's just them days when you don't have no energy. Everything just hits you from the long week and all the other extra things you do. And I didn't have no energy today. And I thought about everybody that be rocking with me. And I said, you know what? I got to come with it. I got to come with something. So unfortunately, I won't have a Black Authentic Truth story, but I definitely will have some good topics, some good things we can talk about. And just first off, it's Mother's Day today. It's Mother's Day, and if y'all could, let me see, if you could just give me a one if you can hear me clearly, right? It's Mother's Day today, and what can I say? Y'all know Black Authentic Truth. I don't celebrate no holidays. In fact, we don't celebrate no holidays. My brothers, my family, um, we don't deal with it. We done got to the point where we understand history. We understand why our people do it, and we understand that it shouldn't take for a day like this to express our gratitude, and show our genuine love for our loved ones. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And I was disappointed because I feel like we done got to that. We should be in that time, that point in time. And I'm going down my timeline on social media, and all I see is pictures of people's mothers and them giving appreciation to their mothers. And I'm just waiting on that day when our people can realize that you don't have to show gratitude and show love on a day that our slave master set up for us. You have 364 days to show your love and gratitude, genuine gratitude, right? Because if you're doing it because everybody is doing it, how can you really say it's genuine? Genuine is something that's spontaneous. Genuine is something that's from the heart. And genuine is something that is organic. It ain't just because, oh, I went into the store and I seen all this stuff for this holiday and it's coming up and I got to get ready. That's not genuine. Genuine ain't because you see people, the whole world is doing it. And everybody's selling flowers and balloons and cards. And now you're thinking about declaring to the world and telling the world how much you appreciate someone in your life. That's not genuine. So I hope somebody gets the message, right? Hope somebody, a brother or sister, gets that message. And this is not just for Mother's Day. This is for all of those days. Because you think about it, we only really think about family like a family get together is always connected to a holiday. Like a family get together is never just because we're doing it, because we planned it, because we decided to do this thing. It's going in the procession is moving with how the world moves. It's moving with what everybody is doing at the same time. And I have to say, at growing up, of course, I partook in all of that stuff, but I've never been a follower. I always been somebody that was that thought outside the box, and so I've never been a follower. And so the point is that you can do things on your own with your family. You could show your appreciation to your loved ones at any given time, and that's really genuine. That's really real, and that's really from the heart, right? So yeah, I got a couple of stories I want to get into. And first, what I want to talk about is, of course, which is everybody knows what just happened. I did a video, and I was glad to see that a lot of brothers and sisters had some common sense when it came to that black teacher, the brother, allowing the students to play in his hair. And then it came out that he actually allowed them to paint his nails and all kind of extra stuff. I think there's a story where a girl said she liked a certain character and he dressed like the character, an anime character, and all of these things. And so more and more details is coming out about this teacher which he's starting to actually look like a weirdo, even though he's a teacher. And a lot of people were on both sides of the argument, but I was on the side of the argument that as a father, you can't come to me and ask me, teacher or the president of the United States, you can't come and ask me, can my daughters play in a grown man's hair? It's just not going to happen. And you might get boo boxed. You know what I'm saying? But we live in that world. We live in a world that thinks like that. We live in a world that thinks it's cute. We live in a world that thinks that, it's good for a man to be very effeminate and be on that side, be in touch with his feminine side and all of that crap. It is cute for you to put our children in dangerous situations. It's cute to y'all. Y'all think it's cute and y'all don't think. And that's another thing going back to Mother's Day, because he said he got consent from some mothers. See, this is going to hurt a lot of y'all feelings. A lot of you mothers don't deserve no praise at all because you put your children in positions of danger. I was just talking about all of the sisters, and I'm going to get some of these stories. All of the sisters that have not been taught well. They're all online. I mean, just start scrolling. I can start scrolling on my phone, and eventually somebody's daughter is going to pop up that was influenced by her mother, her aunties, the women in her family. Because the activities that she's doing sure didn't come from the men in her life. They're activities that women do. And so those influences came from these women. But a lot of y'all are praising, a lot of monsters are being praised today. I know y'all upset about that. A lot of monsters today are being praised on Mother's Day today. There's some women, and I'm not saying Mother's Day, I'm just saying there's some women that mothers, grandmothers that genuinely deserve praise. But a lot of monsters, a lot of women that neglected their children are being praised today just because. But I'm off that. But I'm glad that a lot of brothers and sisters had common sense to see that was very weird. That thing with that brother allowing these students to play in his hair. That's something that will never happen. Any man with his head on his shoulders in his right state of mind, if you asked him that, he would look at you crazy. He will look at you like you lost your damn mind. Like, what do you mean? Are you talking cosmetology school? And then also you had a lot of people that saying, because I said I can see women, a teacher that's a woman allowing these girls, students to play in her hair. A lot of people said not at all because you shouldn't be doing that at school. Well, this is the thing, because it's been a while since I've been in high school, but I remember, everybody's caught up on their work. There's a little free time at the end of the period where everybody's joking around, playing around. You got a group here, a group there, some people talking and joking with the teacher. So there are times in school where it's just free time. So that's why I didn't bring that up, because that was my initial thought. I thought like, well, why are you even doing something like that in school anyway? You should be doing some work. But then I had to remember when I was a kid. I had to remember when I was in middle school, when I was in high school. There were times at the end of periods, probably about 30, 40 minutes, where everybody is caught up on their work. We don't got no assignments. The teacher has nothing else for us to do. And it's just pure free time. But that free time shouldn't be abused. It's like what we saw in that video. Like I said, now I agree, because even in our community, Black girls play in older Black women's hair. Their mother here, their auntie here, they do that. That's just part of our culture. So that's why I said I would see it would be okay for a Black woman teacher and her students, for them to mess around with her hair if she want them to, if she allowed it. And during that time where everybody's assignments is done, there's nothing to do. And everybody know, if you can remember back in high school or middle school, you did have times when it was a little bit of free time before the end of school, before the end of the period, and the teacher just let everybody do whatever they wanted to do. But yeah, I'm off of that, right? Now I want to go to, let me get this real quick. I ain't gonna say too much on it, but maybe I will. Maybe some of these people need to learn a little bit about a little something, something, okay? These church goers. I know I'm sure a lot of y'all's in church today. And this picture came out. This picture came out actually a few days ago. Now, this is a pastor with his first lady or his first gentleman. It's a LGP or LGBTQ couple. And the pastor and his first gentleman, right? And this caused a little stir online and everything. And you're looking at it like, you know, we are destroyed as a people, because when I looked on the actual post, you had so much support from guess who? Just guess. Guess who? I want somebody in the comments to guess who was the main supporters of this, and who was saying they gonna pray for them and they hope they church grow and all of that. Just guess. I'm gonna give it some time. Like, I want you to just to guess who was in those comments praising this mess. The church, yeah, the church was, but I want to talk about gender. Who was? Would you say black men or black women was in there praising this and saying, praying like, man, that's beautiful. God bless you, Pastor. I hope that your church grows. It was just all kind of, yeah, you're right. Our people was doing that. And man, let me tell y'all something, man. Let me tell y'all something. Our people learned Christianity on a plantation, right? Our people learned the idea of God loves everybody. White Jesus, you can do whatever you want to do, and all you have to do is just ask for forgiveness. You can live whatever lifestyle you want to do. You can be a drug dealer, you can be a murderer, you could be LGBTQ, you can do whatever you want to do. But if you just ask for forgiveness, you good. Can't nobody judge you. And that is so wrong, because it was just natural for us to start following our slave masters' ways. And now look at us now. I mean, look at that. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That's crazy. But this is normal. Which y'all, like, a lot of people looking at this like it was crazy, but when you just go Google it, this is very normal now. You have a lot of pastors and first gentlemen in all type of churches. Well, I'm gonna pull out a little scripture, because I'm going to show you something that the people that are there today, the people that say that this is cool, that they don't actually know the Bible, or they don't really realize that what they're following actually has nothing to do with the Bible. But more importantly, these pastors don't even know the Bible, because if they knew it, they wouldn't be partaking in this mess. And I got to be careful what I say, because that community has so much power. That's crazy too. That community has so much power that they can get you, down there wiped from the face of the earth. Like, real talk. Now, this is something they've never read. Let me read this for y'all. It's Romans 1:26 to 27. It says, for this cause the Most High gave them up to vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burning in their lust one towards one another. I'm going to just stop right there, man. This is something that they don't read. And I bet you I bet you that church ain't reading that. I bet you they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? I bet you many people And those churches on Sunday don't even know anything of what's in the book, but what they do know is the religion that was handed to them during the plantation, during slavery. And that's why our community is so off, because when you look at people who are supposed to be leaders morally in their conduct and spiritually, and then you look at the neighborhood surrounding these places, the neighborhood is destroyed. Everybody on drugs, crime rate is high, poverty rate is high, but yet the Black Christian church has raked in billions of dollars from Black people, and it hasn't been reinvested into the community, or not even that, just the level of morality and teaching our brothers and sisters. That hasn't happened. It's never happened. It's never happened when we know right from wrong. It seems that we don't know right from wrong at this point in time. We done got hit with the poverty, the welfare system, crack cocaine, heroin, just drugs flooding our community, guns, unemployment. And at this point in time, it's very hard to find Black people that know right from wrong. We don't know which way is up. A lot of Black people look at the things that are terrible for us as good things, just because people are making money. Just because people are sensationalized, it's captivating to us, but the end result is more destruction to our communities. The end result is more broken families, more fatherless homes, just, something that we don't think about in the long, we don't look in the future and think about it in the long run. We don't think about where we was and how we're deteriorating. But you can blame that on a lot of the Black leaders, on a lot of the religious Black leaders, because everybody is for self. I can't blame a celebrity. I'm not going to blame a celebrity for the destruction of our people, because the moral foundation should come from our religious leaders and our Black leaders first, and then it spreads out. So I'm not mad at somebody. I'm actually not mad at a Sexy Red or a brother that's pushing drill music, talking about killing other brothers, because it don't start right there. You can't be mad at somebody that's in poverty and some white man is dangling a contract that can change their life overnight, and he's having them rap a certain way, push a certain type of image. You can't be mad at that end result, but the beginning you can't be mad at it. And we usually don't point the blame at where it really starts at. We point the blame at what our eyes see the end result. So we'll point the blame at brothers hurting one another in the hood, gun violence, women twerking, Sexy Reds and all of them. We'll point the blame at that. But how did it get to that point? Why couldn't we stop it? Why couldn't we curtail this thing and turn it around, turn it a different way? We couldn't. We could have. You know what I mean? But it takes us to look at our morals and to call something that is wrong, wrong, and something that is right, right. So I'm off of it, man. I'm off of that one, right? But yeah, I'm about to get into this story with this sister. This story actually happened in 2021, and what I'm starting to see is that a lot of stories that will be very high profile with white men killing Black women or whatever the case may be, they don't put it out in the media because of the time period. Now, this was happening after the aftermath of George Floyd, so they couldn't put it out then. But now that there's a verdict and all that, now you're starting to see this story in the news waves, which is very strategic. Okay, let me get this story real quick. So a South Carolina man was sentenced to prison for killing his ex-girlfriend while he was out on bond. So it says a South Carolina man has been sentenced to 60 years in prison for the murder of his ex-girlfriend. Authorities say Justin Cole Carroll, 24, was out on bond for domestic violence against Donasia Alexis Holloway when he shot her to death in 2021. He was found guilty of murder on Wednesday. Now look at this meathead. Look at this meathead. He like what they call him, a jarhead. And I always ask myself, how do beautiful sisters like this find themselves with something like this? A damn meathead, a psychopath, a stalker. It says that Holloway and Carol dated, but she ended the relationship after he was charged with domestic assault in January 2021. A judge ordered Carol to have no contact with Holloway. However, as she returned from a beach vacation on May 22nd, 2021, Carol followed her into the parking lot of her apartment complex. He spotted her car and parked beside a Waterboro Police Department cruiser. Oh, he spotted her car. So what actually happened is she seen him first, and so she parked by a neighbor who was actually a police officer. She parked by his car, by his home, right? She then went, I'm sorry, in a video, she basically went live on Snapchat and said that he was following her, and she got him in the video as he's approaching her car. It says that officials say apartment security cameras also captured Carol approaching the car just before gunshots rang out. Holloway was found dead in the front seat of her car. She had been shot 4 times, suffering from wounds to her head and neck. Carol was taken into custody 2 days later after they discovered the Snapchat video on her phone. Okay. So this devil, this jarhead, this meathead, took this beautiful sister's life because she didn't want to be with him anymore. He put his hands on her, he caught a case, and then they allowed him to be out on bond. And this is when he took the sister's life. She had been trying to avoid him and avoid him. And this is the thing I want to reiterate. They didn't put this story out when it happened. You know what I'm saying? Because of the temperature of what was going on at the time. They do that with a lot of stories. It's a lot of stories like this that you hear about a year later, after the fact, when racial tensions are not high anymore. Her mother was quoted as saying on video, and I'm not going to play the video because YouTube be hitting me, trying to hit me with all these copyrights or whatever, but her mother said that they've been slapped with a life sentence because even though he's locked up for 60 years, they have a life sentence of pain and remembering their daughter and how she was taken away from them. This is something that and once again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but a lot of brothers and sisters from the South, I don't know what be wrong with y'all. How do you end up with a man who is the descendant of the slave master? I know how. We all think it's Christianity. We all think everybody is human. Love is love, no matter who you love. And it's funny that in the video that I seen of this, in the comments, people were saying, you know, it's not about race. He was just a crazy psycho man. It's about, because women suffer more violence, which is true. Women suffer more violence from men. This is a true statistic, a true statement. But when it's this jarhead, they're saying, oh, it's not about race. It's about, you know, a violent man. But anytime it's a black man, they let it be known it's a black man committing violence against a black woman. They let that thing be known, and they hang on to that point. But now when it's a Ken or a Keith or a Kenny, now it's a white man. Now it's just he's just a violent man. It's not about race. You see how they play that? They play that in the media. They play that in the comments too. I peep that. When it's a black man, it's no problem. And listen, I'm not mad at it. Just keep it all the way real on both sides and equal. Let's keep it balanced. It was a white man that abused one of our sisters. He wasn't just a man. And this is something that's been happening. It's been in the news, just like Sade Robinson. It's been happening. This is our sister Sade Robinson, who I reported on. I spoke on it with Maxwell Anderson, who is also a Ken. We got to get back to teaching our sisters to love their people. A lot of times they talk about, well, it's just a man, right? It doesn't, love is love. It doesn't matter who you love, but we got a history. We got a history, and there's a track record with our people and with their people. It's one thing for a black man to hurt a black woman or commit domestic violence or whatever. It's another thing for a man of another race to do the same thing. We act as though these are the same thing. In our community, we act like it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. There's always been a racial dynamic when it came to black and white. That's how America started. So you can't all of a sudden go colorblind now that another race is doing this to your people and say, oh, it's just, it don't matter that he was white. It's just that he was a man. No, because they don't go colorblind on nothing else. Everything is about your race. Y'all got to wake the hell up. Everything is about your race. Look at your ID card. Pull it out. Look at your ID card. It tells you what your race is. Y'all got to stop playing games with me. Everything is about your race, man. There's a dynamic there. There's a history there. Now, do you wear that on? Do I go out thinking like with my mind like that? No. You treat people how you want to be treated. Anybody. I treat anybody how I want to be treated. But I'm not going to sit here and act like it's something like it's not different when it really is different. But if you're not in tune to who you are, you're not in tune to your history, you really don't see it like that. You see it like we all bleed red, so we all the same. That's not how the statistics see it. That's not how those news reports see it. That's not how anybody actually really sees it. But everybody want to push that Christianity, that we all one up under Christ. Everybody want to push that, and that's not happening. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It don't really flow like that. You feel me? So yeah, I'm off of it, but let me get this story real quick. Let me give you this story of this sister, just to go with this.
Validation and attention. I used to have a thing with this. When I was still in high school, I was so desperate for male validation and attention. I used to have a thing with this boy, and he used to call me the N-word, and I just let him. Not only did he call me the N-word, but he wanted me to call him my master as a term of endearment, and I did. He'll be like, what's up, my little N-word, or my little slave baby? And I'd be like, hey, master. Unsurprisingly, it turned out he never liked me, and I was just an inside joke between his friends.
Now, you heard what she just said. She said she was so desperate for male validation. Now, I feel like she's covering that up. She really was desperate for the validation for this type of male, right? But she said she got with a white man in high school, and it turned out to just be a joke between his friends. And so he would call her his little N-word, and she would call him master. And it turned out to be a joke, but I'm trying to show y'all how desperate our people be for that validation. How desperate our people be for that, that attention and that acceptance to a point where it's sickening. Or in her case, she's lucky because look at the sister Sade Robinson. Look at the sister. She was happy to be going on this first date with this devil, and he unalived her. So this sister don't know how close or how lucky she was to end that relationship with a white man that just saw her as a fetish, just saw her as an inside joke with his friends. But our people be so desperate for that acceptance, and that is on every level. You can just look at our people; they be desperate for that acceptance and that validation from white supremacy. And it's crazy, and it's also sad. But this is just something to reiterate my point that you see these things happening to our sisters more and more, and you see the reason why. It's for acceptance and validation from white society, when we should be teaching these girls, teaching these young boys to love your people. What's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with your people. There's nothing wrong with being black. There's nothing wrong with your hair texture, your brown eyes. There's nothing wrong with none of that. Love your people, man. Think and more than that, teach your children the real history of your people. Teach them the real history so they don't grow up and be subjected to having to be called an N-word because they want to have a boyfriend. You know what I mean? Right. Trying to change their voice and all of that. Y'all, man, for real. Trying to change their voice and, not be ghetto, not sound black. You know what I mean? Knock it off. These people really see through you. They really see that you want to be a part of them. Let's not forget. Let's not forget Chris Gilbert. Just talked about him. Let's not forget that brother. Surrounded by all white friends, they push him in the water and watch him down there drown to death. These are his friends. These are the people that you're trying to be validated by. We got to wake up, y'all. We got to wake up. You know what I'm saying? Let me drop this. Now, this is a story with a sister that actually moved to Ghana. Okay, and y'all know my stance. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, and I know that our people came from West Africa. Our people actually came on cargo slave ships, and not only that, were sold by people who were not our people, although they were dark-skinned people just like us. And that's a hard lesson that a lot of us have to learn because we're indoctrinated with the westernized European system of education, which basically says because we came from the continent, we are all the same people. And not only that, in order to escape, any culpability, they say, well, your people sold you first. Or they say slavery always existed in Africa first before the Europeans came. And the true reality is that nobody sells their people. And this sister is out here, and these are stories that are not getting out to the diaspora. They're not getting out. When I say the diaspora, I'm talking about Black Americans, West Indians, Jamaicans, all of these people that have came through the transatlantic slave trade. We're not hearing about these stories, but this sister who actually did good for herself in America and then moved to Ghana is there to tell those stories. And y'all remember the story with the brother from Go Back to Africa, where he was showing how they have an Israelite community out there, and the Guyanese or the government of Ghana basically accused them of doing things that wasn't in the contract or whatever, and then they demolished their compound, knocking down their buildings or whatever, taking over their property. So this is how Black Americans are being treated in Ghana. Okay, and let me get to it.
And Grand Rising, I just got some really heartbreaking news, and I wanted to come to you guys to talk about it, and we need to share as much as possible. There was a diasporan woman here, or woman from the diaspora, however you want to look at it. I met her literally just like a month or so ago, maybe more, and then I think I saw her about 2 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. So met her maybe at least more than a month ago, but saw her at least 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks ago. And it's bothering me to find out that she was discovered murdered behind her home, buried behind her home, and supposedly it happened by maybe a partner that she chose or someone that was close enough to her. When I got the news, I literally.
So what I understand is a sister that she just met. This sister, like her, is from the diaspora, meaning she's from either America or one of the Caribbean places. And there, a lot of brothers and sisters are relocating. Y'all remember in 2019, they had to return to Ghana, like come back home to the motherland. It came out later that this whole campaign was targeting African Americans to bring in African American dollars through tourism. But a lot of brothers and sisters that have the means to do that were moving back to Ghana, saying, I'm moving back to the homeland, to the motherland. Well, this sister, I'm fast forwarding, this sister who she's talking about built her own home. And when she was done building her home, she came up dead, murdered, and buried behind her home. Now, I believe reports had came out that it was an African man that she had got with out there. But this sister goes into detail saying that this is happening a lot out there to African American people that have relocated to Ghana. And y'all know the story that I brought out with go back to Africa, where Ghana basically was demolishing people's buildings in their homes. Okay. Let me just skip up a little bit.
Borrow that. And she'd be like, get your little black ass in here. Than me, but somehow I owe them something. I mean,
so what this sister is going, she's about to be going into how she's talking about how, and I'll put it in the description, right? Her channel, so y'all can subscribe to her channel. She's talking about how she came from the hood from America. She worked her ass off to get to where she at. And then when she gets out there, everybody is trying to get over on her. And they look at us out there as though we're rich, as though we got a lot of money. And so, our people are being extorted and cheated and swindled everywhere they look out there when they go out there. Okay.
So many different type of people whose lives they're literally doing better than me, but somehow I owe them something. So fade out, fade in. I'm looking at these people who have family homes. I'm meeting people who haven't had jobs in years, but yet their belly isn't empty. Let that sink in. Haven't had jobs in years, but their belly is never empty and they have a roof over their heads. Meanwhile, I'm here and getting bent over ass right damn near every time I go out to get anything. Because people assume that I have it. This O'Bruni money shit don't finish. This O'Bruni this, O'Bruni that. This is not fucking funny. And
so I want to know, because she's saying O'Bruni. Is that what I want somebody that sees this video, you from West Africa, what do they call African Americans? They call them O'Bruni. What does the term O'Bruni mean? Okay.
we've had too many people coming here dying and getting murdered suspiciously, all for this money grab that people somehow think we have just tons of money. And supposedly this is said just finished building her house, and that seems to be the issue, is once you build your house, get your land and build your house, suddenly you mysteriously end up dead. Mysteriously.
So she said suddenly once you build your house and get everything together, suddenly you ended up dead. And this is happening to Black people that are going to Ghana. Okay. Everything ain't sweet like y'all be talking and acting like going to the motherland. Everything ain't sweet. And you're going to find out the hard way that we are not the same people.
But like I said, these people are the same folks that's out here robbing and killing us, are the same ones that got family homes, that have something to eat, have a roof over their head always, whether they're working or not. They're being taken care of and fed some way, somehow. But you're jacking and killing people who've come. See, so me and my brother, we was talking about, and I was gonna do a separate video, and I made a comment about how much is enough. You literally got people coming here to Ghana, building schools, building roads, getting access, creating access to water, creating these NGOs to give funding for school children. What do you call it? Health fairs. When I say there's so much giving, it's ridiculous. But what do we get in return? What protections do we have? So this is something that needs to be discussed. We have nothing coming in. There's no reciprocity.
So what she's saying is the same thing that brother was saying. Go back to Africa, who was actually out there too, is that they have about 15,000 African Americans out there in Ghana. And he felt like Ghana wouldn't be able to stand without the money that they're getting in the business that African Americans are actually bringing to the economy. And so what she's saying is there's no, it's not balanced. Like we're giving all of this stuff, but there is nothing being given back to us when we out there. No protections, none of those type of things. I'm gonna keep going.
So this is why I posed this question to the community. You got all these people talking, oh, you just haven't met the right people. Okay, so all these people that's been here 30 years, they ain't meet the right people either. They're not connected or not. Like, why are we still dealing with this shit? With all of these so-called diasporans somewhere around that's been here all these years, where's the protection? Where's the help? Where's the support? Where's the...
Like she said, like people are saying, oh, you haven't met the right people. And she's saying, what about the people that's been here from America for 30 years? They ain't met the right people yet. So they don't have any protections. Everything is against them when they're out there. When Black Americans is out there, everything is against them. There is nothing cohesive where there's like a, how can I say, like a Black American embassy or something like that where you have protections. Nothing like that.
You know, I mean, this is where I said we need some Don Corleone shit, type for real, where I can go and sit at your feet and I can come and give you my problems and let you know what it is. And, you know, put the little cotton balls in your cheek and be like, okay, you know, I'll take care of it. Where's that motherfucker that's word is bond and he's taking care of the shit instead of all these milquetoast sermon ass niggas got all these great speeches. And then when we leave, ain't nothing happening. Everything is still the fucking same. Where are these people that everybody keeps imagining is there? They're imaginary friends. These people are... There needs to be protections for our sisters and our men. If y'all listening, your sisters need you whether you're married to them or not. You remember that Jill Scott song, We Need You? We need y'all to... You don't have to be married to a sister to show support for her, check in on her, look out for her. I grew up in a time where people...
So I'm gonna end with that, right? This sister is saying is what she ended with is sisters need the help from their brothers. The problem is that there's not a lot of brothers out there, and number one is that whole area, that whole place is ran by people that don't have the same concerns that you have. They're not our people. A lot of y'all will get upset at that. Y'all will get pissed off at me saying that the Africans are not our people. And you have all the proof right in front of you of how they treat Black people, how Black people out there are being treated. Am I saying that there's no good stories? No, that's not what I'm saying. But overall, what I'm seeing is that it's just a money grab, like the sister said. Like everybody is looking at African Americans when they come over there like they're rich and like money is just falls out their pocket. And they're looking at them like a money sign. They're not looking at them like, oh, my brother. That's as far as it goes. Come back home, my brother. Come back home. That's as far as that goes. No further than that. Come back to the motherland. That's as far as it goes. Once you get there, as soon as you get there, from the time you get to the airport, everybody is trying to shake you down. There is no brotherly, sisterly love. You got a sister that's out there right now crying out for help for brothers. Even if you don't, and this is another thing, and this is no shade to this sister. I mean, I feel bad for that sister in the situation that she's in. And I wish that these sisters like her and brothers also that are, having a problem and trying to understand why is it like that. I wish they would understand that we're not the same people. We don't have the same spirit. We're not the same people. And it's not because we've been in America for 400 years, because if that was the case, they would have came and got us a long time ago. They would have came and fought for us during Jim Crow and during racial segregation and lynchings and burning us and all of those things. But they're not. They're not. And we get it confused when we get there. We get received with the love. But that same love, any race of people in any country will receive you with kindness, with gladness. The minute you get off the boat, off the airplane, you're going to be received. You're a Black American. You're the most popular, most influential people on the planet Earth. You're going to be received with gladness no matter where you go. So don't get that confused and with the education that we got that we're all the same, because we're not. And the proof is starting to show itself in all of these stories where sisters are getting murdered, brothers are getting murdered, people out there are being swindled and extorted and what you call those things? You know how many sisters that have been scammed in America by Africans? It's crazy. It's crazy. And this sister brought it out. We looked at it as a money sign. You get over there and you looked at it as a damn money sign, and they trying to figure out a way to get more money out of you. Meanwhile, you on a fixed income. Meanwhile, you done saved up all this money to go out there, and you can only spend, she said, every time she walk out the door, somebody is trying to get over on her. That's crazy. And she said there was people that she see that have not worked in years, but they have a full stomach. They have a home. They don't have to work. But these are the same people that have everything that are trying to swindle them, trying to get over on African Americans that move out there. They're not trying to be brotherly, sisterly, help you, none of that. So she's appealing to African Americans. We need your help, brothers. Even if you have a wife, even if you don't, you don't have to be, my husband to help me. Just look out for your sister. She's appealing to brothers. But what I was going to say is that, and I preface this by saying this is no disrespect to that sister. Shout out to her, right? I'll put her channel in the description of this video. But you see how our sisters need us when a woman says she don't need a man. These sisters, like her, now they're in harm's way. They're out there in another country where people are murdering our sisters. Now, granted, they have done very good for themselves in America and was able to relocate to another country, Ghana. But there's no protection. There's no father. There's no men. There's no sons. There's nobody to protect these single sisters that have moved out there to an alien place. And I'm not saying like, don't go or don't go out there, but I'm just trying to let you understand, like, this is the result of having the mindset of just being by yourself. I can do good by myself. Yeah, I can, I got a good job. I got an education. I've done good for myself, and I'm going to move to some distant place where nobody really has love for me. You don't have any protection. And that's a sad dynamic right there. I felt for that sister when she says that, when she made that appeal to brothers. Hopefully there are some brothers out there that will come to her aid. You know what I'm saying? That's a messed up situation right there. But the point of me bringing that out is to show you that people, it ain't just me talking. People that are out there telling you the same thing. Now, granted, they don't know their true identity. They don't realize that all Black people ain't the same. but they go in there with that preface and that thinking process that we are, and then they find out the hard way that these people are not like us. They're trying to take advantage of us at every turn. I don't know, but I'm off of it, y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Next week, I definitely will have a Black Authentic Truth story. I don't have one. I'm sorry for that. I went a little late, technical difficulties, and also I just didn't have no energy today. But I did get some rest, like we all should try to do, instead of just going. You know what I mean? But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Make sure you be in the live. I'll be back next Wednesday. I got some more stories. I had a whole bunch of stories I could have went over, but I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to cut it off right now. And thank y'all to everybody, Sister Barathanawa, that Gamer Honesty. And yeah, y'all been rocking with me. So shout out to y'all. All right. With that, this is Black Authentic Truth, y'all.